A very good evening to everyone attending today's session. I, on behalf of SAI International School, welcome you all to yet another one of its kind initiative by SAI International School, the SAI Alumni Talk Series. This unique venture has been actuated by our founder and mentor, Dr. Vijay Kumar Sahu, who have always come up with varied, creative, and novice initiative for his pioneers. SAI Alumni Talk, a series of talks by noteworthy alumni of SAI International School who have excelled in their own spheres, may it be academics, sports, entrepreneurship, performing, and visual arts, and many more. These sessions by our alumni aims to provide our pioneers with an opportunity to gain first-hand knowledge about their career and future prospects. We feel it is a brilliant platform for our pioneers to interact with their seniors who will share their skills and expertise and let the children learn from their experiences. It sometimes becomes very difficult for students to decide on which career they should opt for, how to pursue their passion, how to know what is their goal, how to know their field of interest, and how they can achieve their goals. Our alumni are our brand ambassadors of our school. We are indeed proud to have such a large pool of vibrant, spirited, and aspirational alumni group who stand tall with their ethos, values, and knowledge imbibed at their alma mater. And now it's time for them to guide and pave way for the pioneers in choosing their career and achieving their goals. So, in today's session, we are indeed very proud to have Zeeshan Ali, our first batch pioneer from the class of 2011 of SAI International School. Armed with a BTech degree in mechanical engineering, Jishan also has a bachelor degree in journalism and mass communication, and he is currently pursuing a master's degree in football business at Johan Cruyff Institute in partnership with FC Barcelona, Spain. Jishan is at present working as a business development manager for a sports media and sponsorship startup based in Barcelona, Spain, called Sports Fan TV. This startup organization is trying to tap non-traditional football markets around the globe by securing endorsements and sponsorships for the clubs and their players. You will be very happy to know that Jishan is keen in collaborating with schools and universities to open football academics in India, and he has already started working actively on this project. We welcome you, Jishan, to the arena of your own SAI International School. Now, let's watch a video.
खिड़की से झांक के आज आंख नम क्यों हुआ करती है बचपन के खेलों की वो आरज़ू क्यों जवां होती है कैसे हंसी थे वो पल होना क्या है कल न थी ये फिक्र कुछ खटी मीठी यादें थी न सपने टूटने का था डर चलते चलते रुकते रुकते ये लब कुछ ऐसा कह जाते हैं उन लम्हों की तस्वीरों को देखते देखते अब याद मुझे वो पल आए अब याद मुझे वो पल आए छिड़ी है तो कैसे भूले वो मासूम यारियां, किताबों के पन्नों पे लिखे कुछ गाने और कुछ कहानियां, थोड़ा डर था, जोश था, शरारतों में थी कुछ नादानियां, कुछ राही थे जो संग चले, सभी ने कहीं ना कहीं रास्ता बना लिया। चलते चलते रुकते रुकते अब कुछ ऐसा कह जाते हैं, उन लम्हों की तस्वीरों को देखते देखते अब याद मुझे वो पल आए, अब याद मुझे वो पल आए।
And I wear that as a badge of honor, just like all my other batchmates from 2011, and I will continue to do so for the rest of my life. So first things first, why am I here? I was approached by the school to come, specifically Jessica and Soma ma'am, to be able to come here and talk to you guys and share my experience and expertise in the field that I'm currently working in. And I'm hoping by the end of this session, I would have been able to pique the interest of some of you guys tuning in here today, and hopefully some of you would pursue a career similar to the one that I have decided to. So let's start off by telling you a little bit about the degree that I'm pursuing currently, and the institution that I've decided to be a part of. So currently I'm pursuing my master's in football business and administration in partnership with FC Barcelona at the Johan Cruyff Institute. I'm sure not a lot of you must have heard about a master's degree in football business. I was one of you guys, but here I am. And Johan Cruyff is one of the most idolized and revered players in footballing history. And has done more to change the way the game is played and managed than anyone to come before him. Few have managed to have an impact on the game, even those who've come after him. The style of football that Barca associated with is all down to the genius of Johan Cruyff. And any football fans out there would know about Johan Cruyff through the Cruyff turn. That is one of his signature moves when he used to play for FC Barcelona. The Johan Cruyff Institute was started by Johan to create the next generation of leaders in the world of sport. And it was an immense honor for me to be invited by JCI to come and be a part of his everlasting legacy. So this particular course, which I'm pursuing, is in collaboration with FC Barcelona. I'm sure, if not all, most of you must have heard about that football club. It is one of the biggest in the world. This course delves into the workings of the game and has helped me immensely in expanding my knowledge about how the business of football is conducted around the globe. There are a number of other courses that the Institute also offers in coaching and sports management, but I felt this was the perfect fit for me, especially with the involvement of such a big club like FC Barcelona. Most of you might think that football is just a game, but like any other business, there are a number of moving parts and specific components specific to the game of football that we need to think about, like the history and politics of the game, how the game has evolved, football finances and revenues, sponsorship, marketing, media, football governance, corporate structure, sociology, CSR, fan engagement. So these are some of the modules that we were taught and we were taken through step by step, and the course really helped me understand how all of this fits in together. As a football fan, I'm an ardent football fan. Since the age of 7, I've been following football pretty much regularly. It is the thing that I'm the most passionate about. So going into this course, I was a little skeptical about how much more about football I could be taught. And first day into the course, I realized I had no idea about what football is all about. So it has been an incredible journey so far, and I like to share some of it with you here today. So why and how football for me? Okay. So like most kids who've completed the secondary education in India, I was faced with either the possibility of becoming an engineer or a doctor or a chartered accountant. Um, so my academic achievements meant I got an admission into a mechanical engineering course in a prestigious institution in India, and I followed suit like everybody. However, in the second year in engineering, I lost one of my closest friends. Um, he gave up, and I was forced to question my own existence and the choices I had made that had led me to that point. I asked myself if this is what I really wanted to do. The answer was frightening, but also just as liberating. I knew I had to do something that made me happy, that I was passionate about, and nothing makes me happier than football. So since then, I've started a journey towards making my childhood dream a reality. I decided to do a bachelor's in mass communication and journalism, and went on to work for some of the most renowned publications around the globe, like CNN and Economic Times, and finally made the plunge as a sports journalist and worked for India's biggest sports coverage website, Sportskira. Having worked with these big entities, I was privy to the inner workings of such establishments, and the demand is for all to see, but uh, the supply is often let down. Quantity often dominates quality, and the consumer is treated like a commodity rather than the knowledgeable fan he or she is. One such instance that made me realize that I wanted to be more aware of how the football business operates around the globe is when I successfully led a project. I was lead in a negotiation with La Liga and Facebook to telecast all the live games on our Facebook page. As some of you must have known, a couple of years ago, La Liga stopped broadcasting the games on television for India and the Indian subcontinent. So the rights were bought by Facebook, and all the games were then broadcasted on their Facebook page, on Facebook Live. So we got into a negotiation with them, and we were able to seal a deal in which Facebook allowed us to telecast all the live games of La Liga on our Sportskira Facebook page. That was a big victory for us. However, the short-term returns led the management to not take the deal seriously, and that was a real disappointment for me. This made me want to learn more about the football industry, and I moved to Barcelona to pursue the master's degree that I'm currently pursuing. That has been the best decision I've ever made, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have to look back any longer. So when I moved to Barcelona, I had my doubts being an Indian about competing with all these people from different countries with a much richer history in football, like people from Spain, England, America, even America for that matter, Scotland, even Iraq, Egypt, Greece. All these countries have a much more closer tie with the game of football than our country does. Uh, However, in Barcelona and in the course that I'm pursuing, I have been able to hold my ground and make a mark, which led me to be elected the lead for a project that our final thesis, wherein we made a business proposal to the board of FC Barcelona for the construction of the new stadium SAI Barca. Honestly, as a kid coming from Jamshedpur in Jharkhand, I never imagined I would ever be a lead for such a huge project where we proposed Barcelona a few ideas on how they should go about in the renovation of their current stadium, Camp Nou, into the new stadium that they are looking at, SAI Barca. And that was a couple of weeks ago, and I must tell you that it went really, really well. The board loved some of our ideas, and they have told us that they will be implementing some of them at the new stadium. So hopefully in a couple of years, when I visit the SAI Barca, I will be able to look at some of the installations and say that I was a part of the planning for that. So yeah, moving on, apart from the success that I've achieved academically, I've also been working as the business development manager for a startup called Sportsfan TV, like ma'am mentioned earlier. We are working with the biggest names in Europe, biggest football clubs, top female and male players in the world, providing them greater brand exposure to untapped football markets around the globe, specifically India, UAE, Canada, South Africa, USA, and Russia. We aim at facilitating an environment in these markets for the players and clubs to be involved in commercially viable sponsorship and marketing and brand expansion projects, and are fully committed to helping the growth of football business in these markets in general. We are associated with the biggest names in the world of football and represent the business interests in these specific markets. Uh, to name a few of these players, I'm sure some of you might get really excited. I was too when I got the chance to even be associated with such names. So some of the names are Lionel Messi, Gerard Piqué, Luis Suarez in FC Barcelona. We have been working with Gerard Piqué as one of our biggest clients. We've been working with him very, very closely in trying to expand his footprint in India. He's very keen. We're currently looking for sponsorship and endorsement deals from Indian brands for Gerard Piqué and Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez. So some of the brands that we've been in touch with right now are Swiggy, Oyo, Ola. We've been talking to these brands, and hopefully we will be able to get some of these deals through by the end of next financial year. Apart from these players, we're working with the biggest football clubs in the world as well, like Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, and I've been incredibly lucky to be able to realize my dream of working in the football, not just working in the football industry, but working so closely with some of these players I've idolized for the longest time and the biggest football clubs in the world. All right, so this is a little about why and how I came about pursuing this master's degree, this career path, and what I've been doing for a little while. I'll just take you through some of the pictures, a few pictures and a couple of clips to better help you understand what it is that we've been doing in the master's as well as in the job that I'm currently doing. So yeah, that's me at the Camp Nou. So just a little bit about the course. My classes actually took place at the Camp Nou. I mean, that's just a dream come true for me and anyone who's a football fan or even follows football relatively closely would agree that that is one of the best things that can happen to you. So all our classes were conducted at the Camp Nou. And the biggest names from the club, from all these different departments came and gave us lectures and gave us insight into how the biggest football club in the world is run. And that was a real eye-opener. And that is really one of the highlights of the entire course. So, but my journey towards football didn't particularly start when I went to Barcelona and started pursuing my course. This was actually one of those turning points in my life. When I was working for Sportskeeda, a sports coverage website like I spoke about earlier, there was a moment when, for the first time in the history of football, a Spanish club in the first year planned a pre-season tournament and decided to come down to India and play one of the pre-season tournaments in India. That club was Girona FC, and they played Kerala Blasters. So before a season starts, every top football club travels around the globe and has a couple of pre-season tournaments just to acclimatize themselves and get into the groove of playing football in the professional leagues. So these two players are players I had watched on the football on the television, and when this opportunity came up, I had grabbed it with both hands. I got the opportunity of interviewing Marc Muniesa on the right and Aleix Garcia on the left. Marc Muniesa was a former Barcelona player who's also played for Stoke City in the English Premier League, and Aleix Garcia has played for Manchester City, the team that is currently second in the league in the English Premier League. So just talking to these people, trying and being able to pick their brains and talk about their careers and how it unfolded was one of the most exhilarating things that I'd ever done in my life. And at that point, I had decided for certain that this is the path that I want to go down. So I ended up applying for this course at the Johan Cruyff Institute, um, the Masters in Football Business and Administration in partnership with FC Barcelona. And I moved to Barcelona to pursue this master's degree. This is a picture from my opening ceremony. Um, Words cannot describe how I felt that day. This was the first time I had visited a football stadium, and it wasn't just any stadium; it was the mecca of football. It was Camp Nou, and and the opportunity to just sit there and soak the atmosphere and the history of that stadium was tremendous. This is a picture of me trying to act really cool and failing miserably at the Camp Nou. This is the presidential box. You can't buy a ticket for this presidential box. Not even the wives and girlfriends of the players are allowed to enter this section. It is only for for the president of the football club and people he invites personally. So this is one I'm going to take with me to the grave. A picture of me in the presidential box at the Camp Nou. That is one of the many trophies that Barcelona have won in their history. And not many are able to get that close to the trophy. And when others weren't looking, I actually kind of touched it, which we weren't allowed to do, but I couldn't help myself. Um, this is the opening ceremony again. That is a director who has worked with a number of top football clubs, and I've built a really good relationship with him as well. And he's very keen on doing something with me in the near future. And of course, it's the same for me. This is one of the classes that we had at the Camp Nou. Now, as a part of the entire course, they took us around to some of the other clubs in La Liga and showed us how they function as well, which was a great experience as well, because football clubs are very different in how they function based on their success, based on how much support they are able to garner from different parts of the world. Clubs have to find their own niche in how they operate in the footballing world. So FC Barcelona is a huge football club, got millions of fans around the globe. So that has different revenue streams that they can tap into. But a club like Athletic Club Bilbao does not have a lot of football fans outside of their specific city. So Bilbao is in the Basque area of Spain, and this club is really special because the only players that can play in the team have to be from the Basque area. So they have terribly limited themselves in terms of the potential and the talent that they can acquire. But somehow they have never been relegated from the top league in Spain, which is really commendable. And hands down, their stadium has to be one of the best in Europe. For a team that does not have that much revenue to tap into, they have done a tremendous job. Next, we went to Real Sociedad. That is another club in Spain that has moved leaps and bounds in the last decade or so. Antoine Griezmann, if anyone is a football fan out there, must know, currently plays for Barcelona. Before that, he was playing for Atletico Madrid. But this is the club that he really made his mark in. So they took us to Real Sociedad. We got a glimpse of how this club also operates. This is a short video of Barcelona playing Real Sociedad at the Camp Nou. And doesn't matter who's playing who, my eyes do not falter. They are always on this little thing. It was just one of the most amazing moments for me to watch Lionel Messi play football live. Now, one of the smaller clubs in the leagues that we visited was Deportivo Alaves. Even fewer people. It is from a small town called Vitoria, uh, of a population of about 50,000 people, and they are able to pack their stadium of capacity 22,000 every week. Every week. That shows you just how crazy uh, the fans are about football in Spain, in Europe generally. One of the lower league teams was able to achieve promotion after a really long time. Now, this is me at the stadium of RCD Espanyol, which is the second team in Barcelona. Uh, they are one of our biggest clients for Sports Fan TV. We work really closely with them. At the moment, we are planning on, we have been working with them in towards opening football academies around the globe. And only a month ago, we were able to close a deal for RCD Espanyol to open a football academy in Jordan and Amman. And we are looking to expand their business interests in the Middle East and in India. Um, they are very good at generating talent, at grooming talent. A lot of you must have heard about La Masia at Barcelona, where Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, PK, Busquets, all these players have graduated from that academy called La Masia of FC Barcelona to the first team at FC Barcelona. But arguably, RCD Espanyol have a better academy, because every year 50% of their players, that is 11 players out of a squad of 22, come from their academy. So they really do know how to work with talent across the world, and groom them and help them take that leap to playing professional football. So we work with them really closely. And as a result, we get to watch a lot of Europa League football because of them. They managed to secure Europa League qualification last time around. So we really admire this football club in terms of how they don't spend a lot of money on big name players, but groom players and help them become professional footballers. Okay, that is me. Along with my team, we made a presentation for FC Barcelona. This was one of the highlights of the entire program for us. They gave us a real world problem. There is an event that they conduct every year called Barcelona Tech Symposium, where all the clubs, biggest names in football, all sports related entities come together and share their knowledge and their expertise. And for the past couple of years, they've been organizing that event, but doing it for a loss of over €500,000. And we made a proposal to them, which helped them bring down that loss to almost zero. And they loved our proposal, and they contracted us to organize this event for them next year, which was supposed to be this year. But owing to the pandemic and the coronavirus situation around the globe, that event has been cancelled, which was a real bummer for all of us. We really worked really hard and put our heads together and gave them a great presentation and really knocked their socks off. But unfortunately, that event is not going to be held any longer. But if it was, then I'd be there organizing it, which is really a feather in all of our caps, even if it doesn't end up happening. And this is the tech symposium I was talking about that we attended the year before, and we helped them bring their losses down in our proposal for this particular event, which is the Barcelona Tech Symposium. All the biggest names in the industry get together, share their expertise, share their knowledge, and just to be there and absorb the knowledge of all these people was really wonderful. This is another football summit, one of the biggest in the world, called the World Football Summit. we are currently working with them at Sports Fan TV, and we are working with the AIFF, which is the All India Football Federation, to host a World Football Summit in India for 2021. And should that be the case, that would be really big for Indian football. And just building these connections between Indian football and all the knowledge and expertise in Europe and on the in European football would be a great deal for India in helping India take that leap forward towards playing football on the world stage. So that's Ronaldo Nazario, the original Ronaldo, like the people from my generation like to call him, not Cristiano. That's the Brazilian Ronaldo, which we got to talk to, which was really special. All right. This is one of the highlights of my course there. I got to witness the El Clasico, which is just, I cannot put into words what that meant for me. Real Madrid taking on Barcelona at the Camp Nou with 90,000 people cheering on is just an experience that that cannot be repeated, cannot be experienced in any other scenario. It was just goosebumps throughout the game. That's me watching the game. Just a short clip of the El Clasico. Got to watch Zidane as well. That is just me at one of the games for FC Barcelona. When my mother saw that picture, she told me she's never seen me smile that big. And I do not doubt that she was wrong. Just to be in that atmosphere, watch the game so close, you just see so many different things going on in the world of football, which you cannot imagine when you're watching it at home and on TV. That is the group of students that will be graduating along with me on the pitch alongside the pitch at Camp Nou. I touched the turf, which I wasn't allowed to do again. It's just an Indian thing, I think. But after I did it, most of my other colleagues followed suit, because you've just the greatest footballers of all time have played on that pitch. Ronaldinho, Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, just so much history in that footballing ground. And finally, this is the first time I was able to watch Lionel Messi play football. And if the video is coming across, you can hear me speak. I hope the video is not coming across, but yeah, that is that's the best moment in my life, clearly. So yeah, that's pretty much all the videos and pictures that I had for you to see. Now, before I wrap up, I'm sure I've taken too much time, and Chairman sir already knows that I tend to talk a lot. So before I end up, I definitely want to talk about this, about what some of the fond memories that I have from the school and with the Chairman sir. He's been the biggest mentor and idol that I've ever had, and he's this Northern Star that I look at and make all my goals. I hope whatever I do, I'm able to make him proud. Shilpi ma'am as well. They've been like parents to me. It was the first time I stepped out of my house and worked and went to a place that I didn't know anything about. Then they took me under their wing. And all the teachers at SAI International, like just a small thing just to tell you, in a SAI Alumni talk, the first guy coming and talking to you is a person who's not an engineer or a doctor, but a person who's doing football business. So that just tells you everything you need to know about the school, about your chairman, about the teachers that you have. Just follow your dreams. The only excuse you have is to not try, because they give you the perfect foundation, the perfect launch pad, and I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for me. So yeah, I hope I've been able to tell you a little bit about what it is I do, and I hope by the end of this session, some of you might have gotten really interested, and I'll hopefully see you around in Europe sometime.
Yeah.
Zeeshan, I think before the volley of questions come and before others pitch in, let me grab this time and uh, in one word, you have made my day. I could not have a better launch of SAI Alumni Talk than from not only a fan of football, but also one of those children whom I always loved like my own son and always looked at in the first batch. The amount of time I could spend with you, I probably nobody else I would have spent.
Yeah.
Uh, there was wonderful presentation, Jishan. Every slide, every word you uttered was with passion, and it reflects that if we are with your passion and you pursue something that you really love and your heart calls for, you always lead towards excellence. Excellence is not only by hard work, but excellence comes with passion and devotion. And you are my soappiece, and I'm so proud of you because you remember the first day when I met all of you. I said that SAI International School is just not a school, but an institute of leadership.
Yeah.
And you said 10 years hence, I will bring one by one my leaders, and they will tell you what leadership is. So this is one example, Jishan, which is my leader, and I'm so proud to have presented Jishan in the first talk itself. So Jishan, can you just tell me one or two of your, very very fond memories of the school which you can never forget?
So that would have to be another SAI International SAI Alumni Talk, because there are countless of those.
Just
You know that
one,
better
one or
than.
two. Just one or two.
Definitely one that springs to mind definitely would have to be, sir, being able to breathe the same air as APJ Abdul Kalam. That definitely, even now that I think of it, it really makes my gives me goosebumps. That was tremendous. So all these unwinds, the music days that you let us showcase our talents. For you, the numerous outings that we went out from a hostel along with all my other batchmates who were staying in the hostel, to the classes. It was just all of the trip to Dubai along with you was something that I still hold dear to me. That is the Dubai that currently I'm right now in Dubai, but that's the Dubai that I remember all the time, because that was so beautiful. That trip to Dubai was amazing.
Can you a
And
bit elaborate on the entrepreneurship classes that you used to have?
oh yeah, that I was going to add that part of my thing, that the first day that Chairman sir met me and my parents. He told my parents that don't let him not do engineering. Give him to me. I'll make him one of the best entrepreneurs in this country. And uh, every moment after that I spent in school, looking at some of these entrepreneurship classes that sir took. Uh, I was sitting in the science classes, but my mind and my heart was completely always there. Uh, I got to know about some of the things that the students were doing from my batchmates, and um, it was just to be able to learn from one of the best minds in our country, not just in the state, with the passion that you have for kids to learn, to grow, and to take that step forward into turning into entrepreneurs, into leaders, rather than just being cogs in the system. It's really special, sir.
Hi, Zeeshan. How are
Hello,
you?
ma'am. How are you? I'm great. How are you doing?
It's been a long time.
Long time, ma'am. Nice to see both of you doing so well. I was just thinking about this. I remember we won some competition. I don't even remember what competition it was, and then sir and ma'am got us to go to this buffet after we were staying in the hostel. And after that buffet, I just came and fell on Shilpi ma'am's feet and like, ma'am, this has to be the highlight of my stay in SAI International. So just things like that, like uh, just going to tell this to the kids who are tuning in. You will not find people who love the children that they're studying in the schools as much as these two people. It's just amazing.
So Jisan, if we both talk, then probably we'll take the whole session.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
leave it to the children to ask you questions.
Right,
I
yeah,
see
right.
so
sure,
many
sir.
hands. So
Absolutely.
I will stop here, and I look forward to meeting you in person. Whenever you're in India,
Absolutely, sir.
please drop in and
Absolutely.
stay with us in our house,
Yeah.
and that's open invitation.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Smita, you carry
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, Jishan, it was indeed an amazing session. I think children now know that they have to pursue their passion and never give up. They understood that disappointment does always make you stronger. So that's what, where there's a will, there's a way. So that's what our pioneers have learned from you today. So there are many pioneers who would like to ask you, there are many queries. But just one thing I would like to tell us, you must be speaking fluent Spanish, right?
No, ma'am. What is that?
So
I
we
am
thought of
not.
listening a few words, of few lines of Spanish.
Just hola. That's all I picked up. Muy
Oh,
bien. Couple of those really small phrases here and there. That's pretty much it. Although yeah, I do plan on picking it up when I move back eventually.
okay.
I'm
Okay,
planning on picking it up.
it's fine. It's fine. It was like the pictures when you were showing, it showed that you were standing in the stadium, and it's like your dream coming true.
Yeah,
And with all the great players, also, it was like you're meeting your own role models there. No?
definitely.
So we'll take up some queries. Yeah, yeah. Just a minute. We have Ronak Malik.
Good evening, Zishan sir.
Good evening, Ronak. How are you doing?
Sir, I am very good. Sir, I would like to ask a question.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Sir, how did your parents allow you to go into the football field?
Yeah, that's another thing that I just want to give a shout out to my parents. You've got to be incredibly lucky to have parents like mine who let you do that. But apart from that, they weren't just going to let me. I wasn't able to just go up to them and say, "Mom, Dad, I love football, so let me do this." Yeah, Ronak. So to answer your question, I was saying you've got to know exactly what you're doing. So what I did was I looked up at some of the courses that allow me to follow my passion. So I looked up all these courses and different universities that were related to sports management and football business, and all of these different courses are there out there. So you've just got to do your research. You've got to figure out what it is, and you've got to be able to tell your parents that you see your future in it. So I'll give you a small example. I have had a couple of interviews with some football clubs, Adidas. These are different entities that do allow you to pursue this career. So uh, just look up, do your research. Does not have to be football specifically. If you want to do cricket, there's sports management. You do sports management, you understand how the game works, and then you look at different entities that allow you to function as a graduate of that particular course. And plus, you've got to be extremely lucky if your parents do say yes, which I've been very lucky that way. So
Yeah. Yeah, Dishan will take the next question. Manmay is there. Manmay wants to ask you a question.
Yes,
Just,
ma'am.
yeah.
Good evening, sir. Manmay here.
good
In
evening.
SAI, a lot of exposure and opportunities are given to students to organize huge events like Unwind and play major role in annual functions and sports events. So, how have these experiences helped you?
That's a great question. So being able to do all these other activities, extracurricular activities, like as part of the Unwind, organizing Unwind. If Jasdeep is there, he told me he'd join in today. Jasdeep and me got together and we organized this for Unwind. We had this ghost house thing that we did. Horror house where we try to scare a lot of people. So there are different opportunities: debating, elocution, dancing, singing, yoga. Suresh sir. There are all these opportunities. You have to hone your talents. You've got to be able to put yourself into positions you don't generally feel you're going to be very comfortable in, and that just allows you to grow outside your comfort zone. So these opportunities are extremely important. Grab them with both hands. There are hardly any schools out there that give you as many opportunities as SAI International will. And it is just that I found all these other parts of me that I didn't really know existed till, I took part in all these activities. So it's really, really important. So make sure you make the most of them. And it's so nice to get a question from a girl after a whole talk on.
No, we have
football.
another
So,
question. Yeah, Zeeshan, we have
sure.
Pratyasha Panigrai here with a question. Yeah, Pratyasha, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. I'm
Hi.
Pratyasha, and I just wanted to know that now you are doing what you are interested in, but how did you pass those years doing something that you weren't interested, like engineering, and then you are doing journalism? Now you are very happy. Like now you are very happy, but then how?
I can't put the entire blame on the system. I've got to take some of that blame because for the longest time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So you have to know that if some people are more in tune with who they are and what they want to do than I was. So to be fair, my parents always allowed me to do what I wanted to do. So in the beginning, it was, I don't want to do engineering. I don't want to do medicine. I don't want to do commerce, I knew what I didn't want to do, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think that is where most of us are stuck at this point, at the point that you are as students of 9 through 12 at the moment. You've got to figure out what you want to do. The sooner you do it, the better for you. It was tough, not wanting to do what I would have ideally wanted to do, but so are a lot of other kids. And it's not like I wasn't really good at science or I love physics, I love computer science. So it wasn't really something that I detested, but it wasn't really something I was very passionate about either. So yeah, you can't really make that plunge. There are certain that need to go through the paces. You've got to recognize that there are certain things that need to be done. So I couldn't have done my engineering and then gone directly to become a football business master. I would have. I went through bachelor's in journalism and mass communication because that is a gateway to things like this. Media. I moved towards media. I thought that was better. I was better at that, communication and journalism and stuff like that. So from there, you take a step. Don't try to rush it. It will happen. What's unfair for now looking on the flip side from the perspective of kids, it is unfair that we are forced to decide what career we want to do before we can vote. So you vote when you're 18, but you've got to decide what you want to do when you're 15 or 16. So that's a little unfair to the kids, but I'm sure it'll happen for you. Don't worry. Just it is meant to happen. Take it day by day. It gets tough, but it'll come around. You'll find what you want to do. You'll find your niche. And I'm saying that looking at all the kids from my batch, I was supposed to be one of the good children who were supposed to do really well in life, but everyone who's passed out from that batch has found their niche and is doing incredibly well. So don't sweat it. That is the best advice that I can give you. It will happen for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Zeeshan. Actually, the combination of these three is a rare combination: mechanical engineering, then journalism, and then as a development, this business developer. So that's what she wanted to know. So next, we take up a question by Anurag. Anurag, your question, please.
Good evening, Zeeshan sir.
Good evening.
So my question is, what should a student aiming to pursue a career in market commerce can start learning in the student years?
All right. So there are a number of things that you could do. I haven't really been, I've really skipped over the commerce bit. But I do have some idea about marketing and all of that. So in your student years, just read the books that are related to marketing. Do a few of these online courses that are out there, that help you hone your skills as a marketeer. So these are some of the things that you can do that are specific for marketing as well. To be honest, I wasn't really someone who put the horse before the cart. By that I mean, I didn't really do a lot of things that made me really prepared for the things that were supposed to come. But it's nice that you're thinking about it. So there are number of these online courses that you can do that really help you, better hone these skills as a marketeer. So that's something you should look at.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Zeeshan. We'll be taking one more question by Akshat.
Good evening, Zeeshan Bhaiya. Bhaiya, I have a question that
Yeah.
I, being a footballer, would like to pursue it as a career, but also go ahead with engineering because I have like interest in physics, maths, and chemistry. Like, then how to do both together? Can I do it together?
Okay, so nice to know that that you play football. So these are two different things, right? So I'm not studying how to play football. I'm studying how the business around football works, right? So for you, if you're interested in having a career and as a footballer or play football professionally and still be able to do, engineering, physics related, science related academics, then that is completely doable. So you put your attention in the academic sphere on engineering, for suppose, and for science, and then you practice your skills as a footballer. So you've got to divide that time. So I'll give you an example. The course that I'm doing in, although they only the institute that I'm studying in, they only allow you to do masters, but they do have some courses where they allow you to, they coach you to become a footballer and give you, training as a sports market management graduate as well. But it's a little difficult for you to find a course that's going to let you practice football and do science as well. So you've got to probably figure out what you want to do. If you want to I don't think it's a problem pursuing a career in engineering and playing football. That's completely doable. So in terms of college, I think you look at the college that you want to go for engineering or science related course that you want to pick out, and then you enroll in a football academy, like hopefully one of the academies that we will be springing up in India soon. So you could go join there, train yourself to be a footballer and pursue your career as an engineer or a scientist or whatever you want to do.
Okay. And now, Zeeshan, there is a girl called Sania. Sania Majumdar. Your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. This is Sania from the residential school. Sir, my question to you is that most of the time we do have our dreams in our mind, but we hardly know how to pursue that. We don't know the process, how to go about that dream. So based on your experience, what message would you like to give to other students about how you went about pursuing your dream?
That's a great question, Sania. I think that's the problem most of us have, right? Trying to realize our dreams. How do you realize your dreams? So I'm going to tell you something that might sound really silly, but that's exactly how it worked for me. So I'll use my experience. So I love football. That's what I've always wanted to do. So I decided I want to do football, but I wasn't a great football player. Okay, so I couldn't be a footballer. So then I've got to realize, how can I have a career related to football, surrounding football, that I would be involved in football and football related decisions. Okay, and that is how you basically try to link the two, your dream and reality. So then I decided I'll try to look up what courses there are related to football that you could do. So suppose you like to sing, right? You like music, but you're not a great singer. So then you look at maybe becoming a sound engineer, okay? Stuff like that. That I actually know people who are doing that currently, you know. So you can do things like that. And always you need to have those dreams. May sound silly, but the reason that I'm doing the course that I am is because I want to bring Lionel Messi to India. That is one of my biggest dreams. And it may sound really stupid, but that is what I want to do. And everything I'm doing is a step towards doing that, right? So it's not going to, it's not really a dream that I have realized yet, but I'm taking steps towards following that. So it's important to have goals like that, even though they may sound completely ridiculous, you know, but you have that dream and you try to work towards it. You do your research based on what kind of careers are there in the world courses are there around, surrounding that dream of yours.
Thank you, Zeeshan. We will take up one more question. We have Swastik. Swastik Arnayak.
Yes. Hello, sir. So good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just wanted, sir, I am a huge Ronaldo fan, but sir, I respect Messi as sir in the same level. So, sir, you said that you met Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and Jared Piqué, sir. So, what is your sir sir, how you felt when you just met one of the greatest footballer of all time?
I haven't met Messi yet. I have seen him play football. I've been in the same room as Lionel Messi, but meeting Messi is no easy task. Okay, so even the people who came and lectured us from FC Barcelona, the heads of departments haven't met Messi yet, one-on-one, right? But I do know I have found a way on how I would be able to meet him, and that is if we are in. Have you heard of Josep Maria Minguea? That is the guy who signed Lionel Messi for FC Barcelona when he was 11 years old, 12 years old. So we met him, and he is still one of the agents for Messi. So we have spoken to him, and he's given us rights for pitching Messi to brands in India. And if a brand in India wants to sign Lionel Messi as the brand ambassador, then we go to Jose Maria Minguea and we tell him that we've got a brand that is interested in Messi. And then after Minguea gives us the go-ahead, then we will be able to go meet Lionel Messi. So it's a really hard task. But I must tell you, watching Lionel Messi play football is good enough for me. I mean, that is one of the highlights of my entire life. And few things will match that. So if you are a big Ronaldo fan, I must tell you, do whatever it takes to go watch him once play. If you get that opportunity, it'll mean the world to you.
Yeah, Zeeshan, I can see some teachers also who have raised up their hands. Maybe they have taught you. So I would unmute Jaisurya sir.
Zeeshan, this is Jaisurya here.
Hello sir, how are you?
Fine. Great career planning, and I just heard you. It's fantastic. My question has been answered because I am a fan of Messi, and I just follow. So that's for me. It's by FC Barca, but now FC Barca is in the news. So that's for whatever the reason. So I hope Messi is staying back in FC Barca. So
yes, sir. That seems like what he should do, but he's made it clear on a couple of occasions that when he decides to hang his boots for Barcelona, he'll move back to Argentina and play. And he is 33 right now. He's going to be 34. So you never know what Messi is going to do. But I'm hoping he's around for a couple of years so that when I go back to Spain, I'm able to watch him for a couple of more seasons. But I'll just say that enjoy him while he lasts. Sure he's going to
Zeeshan, we have Devangi Kumar. He has a question for you.
Sir, I had a question that, sir, at any point of time, did you feel that your career of choosing football was wrong?
That's a tough one. So not after I made that decision, but while I was making the decision, while I was moving away from the certainty of having a career as an MBA, a normal run-of-the-mill MBA, where you, because there are so few people, in fact, I don't know anybody who's taken this career choice, who's made this career decision. So I don't have anybody I can model, I can look at and be like, okay, this is what he did, this is how it worked out, so it makes sense for me. So that makes it very scary. Does make it very scary. I went back and forth on making that decision, but since I've made that decision, since I've moved to Barcelona, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that has been the best decision that I've ever made. So I understand it sounds a little precarious and it gets a little scary when you can't see the road ahead, mostly because there are not a lot of other people who've done this before you. But since I've made it, I'm pretty happy with what I've done. With the COVID situation not standing, because currently we would have been in a much better place, but that's something that everyone has to go through. So
Zishan, we have Subudhi sir here. He wants to tell you something.
Thank you, Madhusmita ma'am, and good evening, everybody. Good evening, Jisan.
Good evening, sir.
After long time, beta, I'm seeing you probably a decade, huh?
Yes, sir.
And
How are you
and you are
doing, sir?
looking even and you are looking more handsome, beta.
that's,
And
that's
beta,
really
I
sweet of
remember
you, sir.
one thing: you are our one of the best defender. If Ankan Roy is the first best forwarder, then you are our best defender, beta. And see, today
Thank you
also
so
I am
much, sir.
remembering our the first match with
Yeah,
DPS Kalinga, and the
yeah,
way you people played, it is extremely beautiful, beta. The way we played, and we have took it to, I think, penalty shoot out.
yes, sir.
So it is really a nice thing, beta, to see you after a long time and seeing your
Nice to
career.
hear from you, sir. Nice to
Thank
hear
you,
from you.
Subudhi sir. We'll take up two more questions. Hridesh Das, your question, please. And then Soumik is there after that. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I'm Hidesh, and sir, I have a doubt like how to focus on a career, like how to pursue a career. For example, I keep fluctuating like to choose whether I want to be a chartered or like I have a dream to become a fighter pilot, but I keep fluctuating like whether I should become a chartered or a fighter pilot. So, could you please tell some steps how to focus on one career?
Um, so focusing on what you really want to do might be a good start. Uh, like the idea of being a fighter pilot might be really interesting, but you've got to realize that there hasn't been a lot of uh, activity related to that particular course that you have done in your life, right? Now, compared to that, with being a chartered accountant, I'm supposing you're doing commerce. So you've done that. If you enjoy that, that sounds like a more reasonable decision to make. Since you've already done some of it, you've done something related to it, and you're enjoying it. Although I don't want to tell you don't be a fighter pilot. That would be really hypocritical of someone who gave up engineering and started doing football business. But I've always followed and breathed football since I was 7. That is the first thing I've ever known. So I knew that what I was getting into. Compared to for you, I don't know if you've done anything related to becoming a pilot, but since you've done something related to chartered accountancy and you enjoy it, that is also something really important, and you should look at that equally. So that is probably what you need to look at, whether you really know what being a fighter pilot entails, or is it just the idea of being a fighter pilot that excites you, compared to something that is real and substantial that you have with wanting to become a chartered accountant and enjoying doing it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Jishan.
So,
It was.
before
Yes,
you
sir.
end, right now, I'd like to pitch in for 2 more minutes, Jishan.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, sir.
It's so wonderful, seeing your confidence and the way you have been answering. I could see some of my reflections in you, to be honest.
Sir, that is the biggest compliment I could have gotten from you, sir. Thank you so much.
Nishan, what we will do is, we will be creating a hub where I'll be putting, like you, all my seniors whom I said that 10 years hence, I am going to make my leaders, train more leaders. And my leaders are going to change my country. So you are one of my warrior, who is going to change India, bring name and fame back to India in whatever we do. So that's the level of leadership I see in you. So this hub, I will put you, and you need to be there, active, and answer children and guide them. Apart from that, you'll be very happy that whenever your time you go through the website of our school, also website of SAI International Residential School. So you'll be happy that we have created the first international standard football court, which is international standard court with AstroTurf,
Yeah.
Our court or our stadium was selected by FIFA for under 17 practice ground. the main match was happening in Kalinga Stadium. So after from that, Reliance Foundation has already had several matches, Eastern Zone matches in our stadium. So we have been working on football and around football, and that's also one of my favorite sport. So we created when you are here, you will be happy to see the infrastructure created
Looking
for
forward
football.
to seeing it, sir.
Yes, and open invitation next time when you are in India, stay in our house.
Absolutely, sir. Definitely, would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir. Yeah, Zeeshan must come and see our stadium. He would feel great that he was a part of this school. Zeeshan, I express my heartfelt thanks on behalf of SAI International School for coming here and guiding our students and how to decide upon their, decide how to choose their career and telling them how to pursue their passion. That is what is very important, and how to achieve their goals. And it was indeed a very wonderful session. And from what you did, we could know that one thing leads to another. You never know how how things are moving and where you will be one day. But one thing you remember, that you have to be very strong in pursuing, or you have to be very strong in determining what you want to do. So that passion is required. The thing that you did not give up, the thing that you never succumb to disappointment, that was a great thing. And I think all Pioneers have benefited a lot from this talk. And you have shown them that where there is a will, there is a way. So thank you so much for sparing your precious time and talking to the Pioneers. We are looking forward to another session with you. Thank you so much, Zeeshan.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
everybody.
and thanks. We thank all the Pioneers also for being a part of this session. You have given them a lot of refresh their mind on football. So that was a great thing. Thank you so much, Zeeshan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.